So the Super Bowl just happened recently, and of course the Bad Bunny halftime show happened, and it was pretty good in my opinion. However, watching the Super Bowl halftime show had me thinking about something. What if El Muerto had happened? Like the Marvel Sony movie that we all forgot about. What if it actually happened? Now, I believe his career would have been ruined. As an actor. Yeah, this video is clickbait. I know, but still, let's talk about how El Muerto would have ruined Bad Bunny's acting career. Before we talk about how Bad Bunny's career would have been ruined, let's talk about who even is Bad Bunny for the two people who don't know. Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican rapper, singer, record producer, actor, and wrestler. But he's most known for his music such as TT Me Pregunto, TTMF, Monaco, so many more, but he played at the Super Bowl halftime show, so that obviously means he's popular and has a big audience. But focusing on his filmography, it seems that he has taken over Hollywood with films like Bullet Train, Caught Stealing, and his most popular film being Happy Gilmore 2. But let's back up a bit when Bullet Train had first released. When Bullet Train released, the people at Sony saw Bad Bunny's performance in that film and were quite impressed, to say the least. Because they enjoyed his performance in the film, they wanted him to act in his own big project. But you gotta remember the people at Sony are just idiots, to be honest, so just remember that. So the people at Sony decided that they wanted Bad Bunny to star as the Marvel Spider-Man villain, El Muerto, which had only appeared in only 12 issues in Marvel Comics. Only 2 trades if we binded up all the issues. Obviously, this was not a very smart move for Sony. In April 2022, after Morbius had flopped in theaters, Bad Bunny made an appearance at Sony's CinemaCon panel announcing the film and that it would release on January 14th, 2024, which never happened, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. 6 months after the film was announced, Jonas Cuarón and Gareth Allcoker, I think that's how you pronounce it, were hired to direct and write the film respectively. Then for a few months, we did not hear a peep about the film, until March 2023 when Bad Bunny said the film had not entered production. And his publicist confirming that it was quote-unquote at a standstill, end quote, but still quote-unquote in development, end quote. Then this is when the film started really going downhill. In June 2023, the film was pulled from Sony's release schedule because of Bad Bunny's touring schedule and the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike. Then in July of 2023, it was confirmed that Bad Bunny would not be a part of the project anymore. When we heard the news that Bad Bunny was not a part of the project anymore, people were excited. Not because they disliked Bad Bunny, but because that pretty much saved his career. That he got fired. Not fired, but he left the project. But anyway, let me finish the story of El Muerto. Eventually the film re-entered production in January 2024. And since then, nothing has happened. There has been no El Muerto film, and for the best, too, of course, but I never even talked about how this would have ruined Bad Bunny's acting career, so let's get into that. The reason I believe this film would have ruined Bad Bunny's career is because it would have been trash. Obviously, there is reason to believe this film would have been trash by looking at Sony's track record with films like Morbius, Madam Web, and Kraven the Hunter all being abysmal. Also, not to mention they are making a film about a Spider-Man villain who's only been in 12 issues of comics, so yeah, to say this movie would have sucked, it's an understatement. Now, do I think Bad Bunny would have been good in the role? Yes, I do believe he would have been good to decent, to maybe just sadly trash, but I don't think he would have been able to save this film if he was good. Not to mention, what would the plot of this film even be about? In the comics, El Muerto is a Lucero who wears a magical mask and fights Spider-Man, and that is about it. They would have probably most likely made an origin story, because that's kind of what they did with all of them, like the past movies, with his character based on probably that, his backstory from the comics, but I don't know nothing about that I don't know nothing about El Muerto to tell you what that would be about, besides the description I gave. But at the end of the day, we should be glad this film never happened. We already know it would have killed Bad Bunny's acting career, but it also would have just been another slot film Sony was going to release. And I'm really glad this whole universe as a whole has been canceled. Alright, I think I've got my points across, so yeah, bye.